pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll remain standing, our invocation tonight will be given by Reverend Fred Schapp of the Bella Vista Lutheran Church. Pastor?
Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with thanksgiving for the blessings that you've given us to live here in Bella Vista. I ask that you would bless the board as they meet tonight. I ask that you to give them wisdom, and may their decisions be beneficial and a blessing to all of the members of the POA. Jesus taught us to pray for your kingdom to come and your will to be done. And that's what I ask you to do for us this evening. May their decisions be a delight to you and bring glory and honor to Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Does anyone on the board want to offer any additions to the agenda this evening? There will be no additions or deletions. Approval of our minutes for the September 8th board work session. The chair will entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion regarding the minutes? All those in favor? Andrew, are you in favor?
I'm in favor.
Motion carries.
Couldn't see his hand.
For the September 15th, 2016 Board of Directors regular meeting, I have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Andrew?
In favor.
Motion carries. Turn the meeting over to our COO, Tom Judson.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Bassett. I'm the Director of HR. And tonight I'm going to talk about our Celebrating Success program, and we're going to introduce the Scottsdale Maintenance Group. So they're all here today. If you would join me up front. Don't be shy. Come on. Don't be shy. I think we can fit over here. First one I'll introduce is Larry Shepard. Larry Shepard is the superintendent of this group out at Scottsdale, and he will introduce his team to you.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here, I think. My name is Larry, and I'll introduce Kenny Hicks, Terry Hansen, my assistant, Cloud Deakins, Gary Fletcher, Larry Hall, and Wyatt Gibbons.
Hey, we want to say congratulations to this Scottsdale maintenance group, his entire staff, and for the great work that they did out at the Scottsdale golf course. The course opened with rave reviews on October 7th, with numerous comments on the Champions Ultra Dwarf Bermuda greens. I was hoping not to butcher that word. The putting quality and the great look of the new stack wall bunker work. So the staff also went the extra mile in making the fairway tees and the new collar approach and collection areas the best they've ever seen. There was a lot of feedback. I attended the event and it was phenomenal. I was really impressed with all the people that came out. So good job. Installation of the new tee signage and overall course manicure. A lot of comments on the attention to detail that they did. It was great. One area which really turned out spectacular was the clearing and the finish work done behind the newly renovated pro shop. And one gentleman that couldn't join us tonight was Brian Hatfield. He lives quite a ways away and he couldn't make it, but he did a lot of that work, and I wanted to make sure we recognize him for his contribution to that. The view of the lake and the 18 green from the new deck really finished off that project. So congratulations to this team, and thank you for all your hard work.
I also wanted to thank you guys. You guys did a fantastic job. Between the golf course improvements and the clubhouse improvements, it's a whole nother golf course, and we are all, on behalf of the board of directors and the management team, we are all so proud of the great job all of you guys did. I really appreciate the work you did.
Hey, Tom, just a comment. I went out yesterday to enjoy the back deck after having my round at a different golf course, and I couldn't get a parking place out there. Every parking place was full with people playing out there, and then once we were able to get out there, I was talking to Joe, who gets all the comments of people coming in. He said he's never seen something like this where all of the comments are positive. Usually some people have various opinions or complaints, but how good it all is. So it really did just completely transform the whole thing, and sitting out on their deck has maybe become my favorite place now in Bella Vista. So great.
And I would be remiss if I didn't also recognize Keith and his great participation and contribution to the golf course. Thank you guys. We're putting on a luncheon for all you guys to thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. Good job.
For the next 2 weeks.
Our next item on the agenda will be our financial report. Dwayne Mitchell, our treasurer.
The financial is as of the year-to-date September 2016 in thousands, and there is no timing considered in these financials. This is the new format that we introduced at the working session. There we go. Looking at the POA, you can see the format. Let me kind of go briefly, because this is a new format. This is the actual. This is what we've always had. This is the actual year-to-date, actual budget year-to-date, and this is prior year. We've had prior year, but it's been kind of way over here, but we've kind of put them all together. So all these are year-to-date numbers, actual budget and prior year. This is the variance. This is the variance to budget, so it's this compared to this, and then prior year is this compared to this, and it's over here. And that's the way all the statements will be formatted for the board going forward, and kind of wanted to just go through that a little. The total POA income, this is year-to-date again, September 26 POA. The actual was $12,724,000. Budget was $13,150,000. Prior year was $12,420,000. But you can see that we're better than prior year, so that's great. Looking at the revenue variances, and this is a new format, we're going to look at the major variances, what's contributing to the differences. At the top is investment income. It's better than $387,000, mainly due to market conditions in the market. Facility use fees, better by $60,000, mainly due to recreational fees. RV park, we've seen it better all year, better by $57,000. Boat registrations is down by $63,000. This is against budget, not against prior year actual. Transfer fees are down by $66,000. Pro shop $79,000, other income $96,000, which is mainly advertising. Golf total fees are down $278,000, and assessments $335,000. Looking at the same variance but prior year, comparing actual year-to-date September 2016 with prior year September 2015, investment income is better by $470,000, again due to market. Transfer fees are better by $52,000, so even though we're less than budget, we're still better than we were at the same time last year. Assessments were down $157,000 against prior year, and other income is down $173,000, and that's mainly a sale of surplus assets at the auctions. Gross profit on the POA, actual is $12,422,000, budget is $12,826,000, prior year $12,157,000. Again, gross profit is better than prior year. Looking at the same section, this is the expense section, and we're going to go through it the same way. POA operating expense was $12,250,000 against budget $12,868,000. Prior year, $10,991. Looking at the variances in this section, against budget, salaries and wages are better by $320,000, and that's mainly due to golf maintenance, golf operations, MAC, and just savings across the divisions year to date. Other expenses are better by $234,000, and that's a savings in bad debt, and that's a direct relation and correlation to our collections. Less bad debt write-off because we're getting more actually coming in without having to write the expense off. Supplies are better by $154,000 due to savings across the divisions and small equipment purchases, fertilizer and chemicals and golf. Employee benefits are better by $94,000, health insurance and other just because this is down. Fuel and oil better by $79,000, just we've seen that pretty much all year, and hopefully maybe that will continue. We don't know what the fuel prices are going to be, but they've been good. Outside contracts are negative by $128,000, and that's due to two or three things. That's due to the janitorial services. Some of the savings up here is down here now because we had some employees and some of that cuts were up here is now the janitorial contract, but we're still saving money overall, and also some printing expense. Maintenance and repairs is down 148 or 141, and that's mainly due to ADA. We had some ADA projects that were expensed. Looking at the same number against prior year, other expense 214, again that's bad debts. Membership election, you know what that is. We've had the 2 elections this year so far. Outside contracts 201. That's due to we had an upgrade on our software system. That was some expense that wasn't there last year, but it was there this year. And also the maintenance and repair is again ADA and floods. Salary and wages 716. The budget was changed. We had new positions in golf maintenance. We added new positions in the budget, and that's what some of that is. Net income, this is the POA year to date. Actual is a negative 243. We were budgeted to lose 447, so that's still better than budget. And prior year was 679 positive at this point in time. Looking at the simple cash flow, the simple cash flow on the POA is 721 against a budget of 85, and prior year was 1108. So we're still performing better than budget. Looking at the same, unless we have any questions on POA, going to the water utility, looking at the same format. Again, just the presentation of the numbers. Water utility total income, actual is $5,819,000 against budget $5,662,000. Prior year, $5,272,000. Again, you can see that number higher than last year. Water utility variances against budget. Investment income, we see the same thing on this side as we did the POA. Market adjustments, $235,000 positive. Other income, 82, that's due to water capital buy-in fee and miscellaneous fees when we charge people when they're late. And water sales were down 160 compared to last year, or compared to budget, excuse me. Prior year, investment income is better, prior year comparison by 364, again market. Water sales are better by 155, so they're better than last year, but not quite to budget. And other income, 30,000, again that is the buy-in fees, capital buy-in fees. The gross profit on water, actual is $4,189,000 against budget $4,092,000. Prior year, $3,791,000. Again, very positive numbers against last year's performance. Looking at the expense section, again in the water utility. Utility operating expenses, $2,018,000 against $2,402,000. Prior year, $1,749,000. Looking at the variances, supplies are better by $163,000. A lot of water meter materials and other supplies, savings. Maintenance and repairs, system repairs up $106, savings on the system repair. Salary and wages, savings of $73. Again, we had some vacancies in that water utility. Another expense better than $25,000. Again, that's due to water street cuts. Taxes and permits or property taxes are higher than budget by $17,000. Looking at the same against prior year, professional services are better by 14. Legal and engineering was in the prior year. Insurance, 11,000. And then outside contracts are negative by 25. Again, we had the same upgrade system on part of the water, and so that's related to our software upgrade. Maintenance and repairs, $50,000. That's due to system repairs against the water system, keeping it up and functioning. Supplies higher by $97,000, and that's also due to the streets cuts. When they do the water repairs, they're putting more asphalt and stuff in. The city's requiring the patches to be done, so that's a little higher expense. And also salary and wages was 106, difference from prior year. Looking at the net income, actual 690 against budget 173, prior year 67 or 678. Again, a positive number. Looking at the simple cash flow on water, simple cash flow actual is 808 against budget 102, prior year 727. Very positive results both on the POA and water. That concludes my report. Pending any questions? Yes, sir.
Why is there such a difference, cash flow, income, between the actual and the budget?
Well, in the past, we've had timing issues and stuff like that. We've taken timing away.
Okay.
So there isn't any timing, and, you know, that's the savings thus far.
Okay.
That was one purpose of the timing, to kind of keep it narrow, yeah.
Thank you, Dwayne. Good job. We continue to encourage our residents to take many showers and use water. Help that water department thrive. Response to previous open forum comments, we had a question from a resident concerning the property known as ARCMO. An email response was sent to that individual within a week.
No, we did not. We held off to answer it today.
Oh, okay, I thought we did. Okay, so do you want to go ahead with that response?
Yeah, I gotta find it. The question was how much was the taxes on the ARCMO property? And the answer is, for Arkansas, the taxes on all of the ARCMO property annually is $225.49, and for Missouri is $391.60. We collect $3,000 per year when we lease out the land to a farmer. So in total, we're to the positive by about $2,400.
Very good. There was another question posed by a membership and a membership group. There were actually 6 questions. At this time, the Property Owners Association membership is in the middle of legal action with the individual, and it would not be prudent for us to answer these questions while this is in the judicial process. So we will delay any answer until such time as that service has been completed. This is a time for open forum. If anyone would like to address the Board of Directors and our viewing audience at home, please step to the microphone, give us your name and your address here in Bella Vista, and limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. Okay.
Okay, I have, can you all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Loretta Gallagher. I live at 27 Basildon Circle here in Bella Vista and have lived there for over 25 years. Needless to say, I am one of those people that are written about all the time about the fixed income elderly. I got to tell you, I'm not elderly, I'm old. Been there. So I speak for many of my contemporaries. When we first moved here, we were all retired, very few young people. And of course, the demographics have changed considerably for the better. My husband and I had determined when we retired, we were never going to live in a place where the grandkids could come for 2 weeks and then they had to go. So this is one of the reasons we love Bella Vista. We love small children, not just our grandkids, but lots of kids. So anyway, that's beside the point. It gives you a picture of who I am. My agenda here tonight is I've simmered and stewed and have said, I'm going to go to a meeting. I am going to go to write a letter. And finally, I talked myself into it. I shouldn't even be driving after dark, but here I am. If you have to pick up the pieces somewhere along the line, you'll know it's me. All right, first, what I wanted to, I don't know if it had been addressed at all in all the comments about the reasons for the assessment increase. I did some homework, trying to find out, determine what the difference in the cost of living was since the year 2000 to now. And I thought, okay, Social Security. So I called them, and they were kind enough to give me the percentages of COLA for each year. And the only years that we did not receive any income advancement was 2010, 2011, and of course last year. Now, I understand that everybody's not retired, but the Department of Labor uses the same statistics to generate their COLA, and Social Security uses those same things. I used to work for the Census Bureau. The Census Bureau is part of the Department of Commerce, and we were the ones who went around and interviewed the same family for 12 months so that we could get their base income and their base expenditures and see how much they escalated during the course of a year. And
I have to interrupt you. You have 45 seconds left to make your point.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so.
I've just begun. I'm sorry. Okay. COLA for Social Security for the last 15 years raised 36.3%. So I feel that we're behind the times. When you multiply that out, it now becomes our $24 if we had that to spend. This year, if we had to get the same things for our money, it would now cost us $34.30, which is a $10.30 advance. Not even, our $9 doesn't even cover it. So I feel that people should realize that there is a cost of living. It doesn't, all you have to do is go to the grocery store and know that you're not getting the same thing. You're not going to cut me off.
I am. I'm sorry. I have to limit questions to 3 minutes now, or comments to 3 minutes now. The board can ask you questions.
Okay.
At this time. So,
Okay.
Joshua, would you like to comment or?
My comment, I was trying to see if we can give her. I was trying to ask if we can give her, say, 2 more minutes, because I don't think we told her how much time she has before she stood up.
Yeah, no, I did. I told everybody that they had 3 minutes when I told them
Right,
they
so
had
my
to tell
question
them.
would be, what was your next point?
My next point, recently in the Vista, there was an article that told about how Bella Vista was formed and how the POA was formed. Now, most of us moved here from a place where there was a mayor or a city manager or something. When you moved to Bella Vista before 2007, the POA was it. That was the management, that was who we answered to. And people moving here now do not understand, and they need to understand, that the POA isn't something that maybe you can join if you want to. No, it's still part of our government. So we need to publicize that fact, and I thought possibly the insight that's included with the water bill reaches everyone. And we may advertise this fact to all of the people. I don't know what the Vista, how many people read it, but I'm sure the readership is not 100%. But everybody who lives here gets a bill, a water bill. So we may have to say more about this, that this municipality is totally different from anything else you might have lived, you know, any place else you might have lived. Who else with 30,000 residents supports 7 lakes and 7 golf courses? I don't know any place here in the United States that does. So we need to be more positive and eliminate the negative. Okay, secondly, the realtors who sell property to people here in BV should be requested to give this information to the people they're selling homes to. There was a letter recently in the Vista about a woman who decided, well, she didn't want to join the POA anyway, so why pay? She didn't understand the necessity. The other night, Channel 5 had people that they interviewed about this, and they said, well, we don't want to pay it. They have no idea why it's necessary. So if you want to take my suggestion or think about it or something, but I do think we need to have positive advertisement. And we need to let everybody who lives here know. And you're going to tell me I'm through, right?
Yeah. All right. I would though ask if you have the time to attend a marketing meeting and make some of these points. They're during the day, which is easier to drive.
So, white and 21.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your comments. John?
I'm still not finished.
Okay.
But that's okay.
That's fine.
I'd like to know what your next point is. I'd like to know what your next point is.
Okay, my next point. It's in regards to a particular person who is very negative as far as Bella Vista advertising goes. And I'm sick to death of negativism. I have read and heard enough from this gentleman to know that he has to know everything that's in our covenant. And for anyone to say POA go away is probably some of the worst PR that we could ever have for Bella Vista. Bella Vista is a wonderful place. I wouldn't live anywhere else, not even near my kids and grandkids, because sometimes they make you crazy. But anyway, I resent his getting all the publicity that he does. And I think that because of the notoriety, he has hurt Bella Vista more than anyone else who has come through here. When I think of all the people who have gone up and down Highway 71 near Cunningham Corners this past week, what they must think about the signs. And I really do resent it. So that's all I have to say. Let's be more positive and get rid of his negativism. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Can I encourage you to... Loretta?
Yes.
Thank you very much, and can I encourage you to write a letter to the editor? It was lovely to hear from you.
You want me to do this?
I would very strongly encourage you.
And certainly some of that, those comments will be published, I'm sure, in the paper. Lynn? Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Okay. Hi.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Goldbeck. I live at 7 Acock Lane, Bella Vista. Been here almost 10 years. I enjoy facilities. I work still, so I don't get to do everything I'd like to do. But golfing, to me, maybe twice a year, isn't my choice. But when the Scottsdale opened up and they had their grand opening, I was a bit surprised when I called to go golfing the second day after the grand opening. They told me I could golf with the flyer for $25. But I wasn't able to do that because, well, I fought through it. Because they said you had to get it out of the Bentonville paper, not the POA paper, which is, I think, has become the Bella Vista paper. And I felt like we should be actually acknowledging our members for the people that are paying for the upgrades and giving them the same opportunity to get the discounts for something that they're going to enjoy amenity for. And Joe and also Elizabeth actually did give me that discount. I golfed somebody that golfed every single day for 3 months straight. And he never got the discount, even though he lived in Bentonville, because not a lot of people knew about it. And we'd like to be able to encourage people to get the discounts. And so we talked to a realtor the other day. She said she was going to mention it. And I think it'd be really good if we're going to have good and positive things and for things where people would really be encouraged to use the facilities more often, price-wise, and like to see what's going on. I feel we should get the same opportunities that Bentonville would, that would get in the paper. We don't always get the Bentonville paper. We don't subscribe. We get the Bella Vista paper every single week. And there wasn't anything in there about that. So we'd just like to be sure that we have the same opportunities that others do from people that might get a separate paper.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right. Joint Advisory Committee reports. Is there someone here from the Lakes?
I believe that is me tonight. Hang on a second here. The Lakes Committee met yesterday and in the boardroom. We got a report from the fisheries manager, Rick Eccles, on the crappie and the walleye that he's growing down in the golf course ponds. Approximately 3,750 of our baby crappies were moved to Lake Brittany, and another 3,750 were moved to Lake Avalon, and approximately 100 walleyes were moved to Lake Avalon also. The crappie had grown to approximately 5 inches, and the walleye were approximately 11, which is an excellent first year of being in the fisheries growing business. The Lake Rangers made 1,029 contacts with members in the month of September. The Loch Lomond dock project is coming along slowly. They had to do a little re-engineering to manage to make the ramp down ADA approved, and so we had to re-engineer the dock so we could keep an ADA certification for it. Although it should probably be done in about another month and a half. There were a couple of small changes in the design that were required. That's being taken care of by Dave's Dock Service. The Fly Tires and the Lake Committee are working very hard on our free fishing weekend for next June, where we will allow all the children to come to Lake Avalon on a weekend day when there's no fishing license required, and fish for free. We have approximately 2,500 catfish acquired somewhere, and we'll net off the end of the lake and they'll be able to fish. The Fly Tire is a big part of that. Somehow managed to come up with 250 fishing rods for kids. Not quite sure whose garage those are in. There was an announcement to make sure everybody knows that most of the restroom facilities of the lakes will be closing, doesn't have a date on here, in a couple weeks for the winter, but there will be a porta potty available for those people that use them. The University of Arkansas still has planned for the third weekend in November to have their fishing qualification tournament out at Lake Loch Lomond. There will be approximately 16 teams of fishermen fishing to make the their fishing team. And as a courtesy to us, as part of the thank you for allowing us to do them, they have volunteered to do a project for us that involves the hand stacking of several hundred pounds of riprap rocks. I'm sorry, several hundred, I guess it's 2,500 pounds, a lot of rocks. And that will be that. Oh, and then the Lakes Committee will only meet once in the next 2 months. They've moved their meeting from their regular third Wednesday to they're going to be on the November 30th, which is the fourth Wednesday of November, and that will be their accommodation November and December meeting.
Thank you, John. Recreation?
She's not here either, is she? Recreation Committee met last Monday. There were no anomalies in their amenity report. Most of the facilities were looking very good and very few problems to be reported. Old issues, Judy Griffith is working with the people at Mercy to do a Target community garden, and they are going to donate part of their community garden space to the POA so that we can do a test to see what interest there is in a community garden. This is a project that will just require a few man-hours of preparing soil and stuff. Since the space is already there and not being used, there's no money attached to it. There was quite a bit of talk about the possibility of a dog park at Metfield. There's a person indicated they were interested in making some donations that way. The staff reports that they're all done with the budgets and that all the budgets are turned in. There was just to go back to Scottsdale, since everybody else has commented about how great it was, it dominated a good section of the Recreation Committee meeting. There will be this weekend, they're going to do some, the POA is doing test camping for some campers for the bicycle race. There's approximately an area for 50 tent campers. We're going to test and see what that looks like and see if it's something that is more long-term. The benches have been ordered and should arrive shortly for the Branchwood Trail and Lake Windsor Dam. It was confusing because it's either 6 or 7, Tom, and I don't know which number of benches it is, but
4 or 3, 7.
7, okay. One place they have 6 and one place they have 7. There's 7 benches, so it's 4 at at Branchwood and 3 at Lake Windsor. There's the handicap work that Dwayne talked about. They're having some problem. They had to be redone. Upcoming events that coming through the Recreation Committee. For Halloween this year, we have a Boo Bash, which is an adult costume party, $10 advance entry and $15 a day at the event. Coming up soon is the mixed doubles tennis tournament, and already happened was last weekend's grand opening for the Back 40 Trail System. And for those of you who are not aware, November 9th, the International Bike Summit will be held on the Back 40 Trails. We're expecting approximately 450 bikers from all over the world. The City of Bella Vista is in charge of City of Bella Vista is taking the lead on handling this event, but it will be held out by Blowing Springs Park. And the next meeting will be November 14th in this room at the Country Club at 4 p.m.
Thank you, John. Very comprehensive report. Golf.
Well, since Jake and Susan are both gone, I'm going to make it nice, short, and sweet. Obviously, Scottsdale was the big topic of conversation and very well received by everybody that talked about it, and everyone was properly thanked. Issue that gathering emails. We're up to 14,000 in the database now, according to Philip Wright, and hoping...
It's 17,000.
17,000 now. We've moved up, so we've done a lot of work in the last week. Events coming for next year, Daryl Muldoon reported that the Adams Tour is locked in, and it will be May 22nd through 25th of next year. Event will be held at the Highlands, and that's looking forward to that. And its expected beneficiary will be the Boys and Girls Club of Benton County, which will really help. Implementation of the Bella Vista Cup for next year, it's a special one. You play all 6 courses. 18 Hope courses, and then at the end of the year, you would have a match play event, which is kind of fun, new one to put together. Keith Eames obviously talked about Scottsdale and reminded people the temperature is 35 degrees, probably will be covered, and make some stipulations along that line, and talked about the various things with the Bermuda grass. Audubon certification, we've received the first certification, and I guess there are a total of 5. So there are 3 more that we need to get, and we hope to complete them in the next 2 to 3 years. And I think that will be a positive thing, too. The PIF for Play It Forward on all courses has been ordered and in place. Country Club will be put in this week, and so that will finish all those. Marketing committee, they talked about various things that they have, we've talked about in the past. But a highlight is Veterans Day Tournament is going to be held the 11th of November, and it will directly benefit Fayetteville, at the hospital in Fayetteville, the veterans there, and so that's a very positive thing, and we look forward to people coming out. Next meeting is in the morning at 8:30 instead of 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's right here in the boardroom at 8:30. They moved to the morning in November through April. Okay?
Thank you, Ruth.
Any corrections, additions, Bruce?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Young residents, Tom?
I'm going to ask you.
For the young residents, they talked about starting in January, we're going to do a test run where we're going to offer childcare and at the same time offer very family-directed exercise classes. So we're putting all the paperwork and all the policies, procedures together on this, but we anticipate this will be rolled out in January, and this is something the young residents have been pushing to have. We received an update regarding the Back 40 Trail. And finally, they talked about future goals and future issues that they want to tackle as a committee.
Great, thank you. Old business. Don't have any. New business. At this time, I would ask the board to consider a proposal that I'd like to make relative to the Property Owners Association lots that we hold. As of October 20th, your association owned 668 lots, which were in good standing on August 27th. I would and am making a motion for the POA to vote all 668 of these lots in the following manner. For question 1, all of the lots to be voted yes. For question 2, all of the lots will to be voted yes. These, if approved, I would then obviously have these votes tabulated, and since we're already at a quorum, would further our cause. Any discussion or second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Discussion. We're all looking at you, Pat.
Thank you. My response to this is a carry-on from conversations that we had during the last board meeting with Mr. Parsons, who wanted a clarification of who the corporation was. And Mr. Hart very clearly stated that the corporation is the membership. In support of his statement, I indicated that everything that we do as a board of directors is intended to be in the best interest of the community, in the best interest of the association. In our in the board ethics policy, I believe it's 1.01 or something to that effect. We as a board commit ourselves to acting always in behalf of the community, of the association, in all matters. Though some of those matters that we commit ourselves to is making bylaws changes and policy changes that we feel would more effectively allow us to act on behalf of the community. We also have the responsibility of proposing changes to the declarations and covenants that are to be then submitted to the membership for vote. Likewise, assessments or assessment increases can only be approved by the membership. We as a board have no power to increase the assessments. But we do recognize, not frequently, but occasionally, we recognize that an increase in assessments is necessary for the association to sustain itself, to move into the future. Consequently, the board can make recommendations to, or can make proposals to the community that a vote be taken to increase assessments. If you go back a step, those votes are held because we as a board are acting on behalf of the community and recognize that an assessment increase is in the best interest of the community. And so therefore we fulfill our ethical commitment to the association to make those proposals. We would not make a proposal that is inconsistent with or contrary to what is in the best interest of the community. Having said that, to vote in favor of our proposals seems to be a no-brainer. We have a duty and an obligation to vote in favor of the assessment increase, which we propose because we feel it is in the best interest of the community. So I really think that the whole question of voting the lots, voting for the assessments is again something that almost goes without saying. And so I fully support the motion to vote in favor of the assessment increase for both developed and undeveloped lots.
Good. Ron?
You know, I know this has been discussed at, in previous elections where I guess none of us were on the board and have kind of gone back and forth on it. So I spent a little time thinking about it and looking at what our declarations say and, you know, thinking about what the obligations are as board members. And with the declarations, it's pretty clear that the intention is that every lot is a vote and that every lot is entitled to a vote. And it's fairly clear that many lots are owned by more than one person. I mean, my wife and I own the lot together. Now, if she thinks it should be voted one way and I think it should be voted the other way, we're going to have to work that out because we only get one vote for that lot. Many lots may have multiple owners on that lot. They could be 10, but you still get one vote for one lot. It's intended that each of those lots should be voted. So in my mind, if you look at this, these are lots that are owned by the property owners association. They're owned by all of us, and they are deserving of a vote. Well, we are the representatives of the Property Owners Association. We were elected to do this. We are, it is our responsibility to do what my wife and I do, to arm wrestle over it or whatever and decide what do we think is in the best vote for this, what's the best answer for this. So, you know, when I find Pat's arguments to be compelling that, and persuasive that that's the responsibility, if we feel like it's in the best interest the property owners, and we have a vision for the community as has been laid out, and Tom has described to everyone, and this is part of doing this. To me, I find that argument to be persuasive, so I'm also in favor of it.
If I could add one thing, just as Ron stated that he and his wife have to come to a decision as to how to vote, their single vote. We could also look at taking the board of directors and those people, those members of the board of directors who are in favor of an assessment increase and vote to propose that to the community versus the board members who are not in favor of that assessment increase and to not propose it as a vote to the community. We could say that the board should split its votes. That is, that the board, if 5 members of the board are in favor, or 6 members of the board are in favor of the assessment vote being proposed, and 3 are not, then we should vote it 2/3 one way and 1/3 the other way. But the board voted unanimously to propose this vote. There was not any dissension whatsoever. And so for us to vote all of our lots at 100% for the assessment increase in both cases, developed and undeveloped lots, seems again to be the most logical thing to do.
Joshua?
First of all, my question is for Doug. When we discussed this in a couple of meetings or 3 ago, we gave you assignment to research on it and tell us what it is. Did you do that research?
I did, yes. I've looked at both at the governing documents, and I feel that it's illegal for the POA association to vote those lots.
Okay, good. That's all we need.
Andrew, do you have anything to add or question?
I don't have any questions on it, no.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe for perspective too on everyone, this is unlikely to make a difference in the outcome. We're talking how many, 600 and something, right?
668.
668, and we have how many total votes are?
16,668.
16,000, you know. So the issue really is to make sure it's in that perspective, and the issue for me is as a board, what is the right thing that we should be doing as a matter of process?
Okay. If there's nothing else, I will, I'll ask Doug to call for the question.
The motion's been presented by Bob and seconded by John that the Property Owners Association vote all 668 lots in the following manner. For question 1, all of the lots will vote yes. For question 2, all of the lots will vote yes. All in favor?
Andrew?
I support this, yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, board team. Appreciate that. Doug, I'm sorry, Tom.
Second item on page 72 of your board packet. This would be the first reading, proposed changes to policy 1.01, 1.02, 1.03, 1.03.1, and 1.03.2. These changes will modernize the policies and ensure the uniform usage of terms throughout the governing documents. Similar in many regards to the update that was approved at the last meeting to our bylaws, where Doug has gone through and made sure that all the language is uniform and modernized. We're continuing with this effort. Once again, this would be the first reading.
Motion?
I move we approve the modifications as made by Doug and approve the policy changes. So noted.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion?
Just for the purpose of communicating to the people who may be watching or those in the room, these changes were all reviewed thoroughly by the Rules and Regulations Committee, and the Rules and Regulations Committee has indicated that approval of these changes that were made be approved by the board. So we have had a second look at the recommended changes as well.
Okay. The motion is to approve the changes as presented. All those in favor? Andrew?
Yes.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda on page 82 of your board packet. If you recall, at the last regular board meeting, we named Amy Fader as our temporary corporate secretary. We have now hired Ms. Kendall Ardois. Close enough. And say it again? Yeah, my tongue doesn't do that. She is now our my administrative assistant, and she will be the permanent corporate secretary, replacing Amy Fader. I would like to propose that we approve her as our new corporate secretary, effective immediately.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Right hand. Andrew, will you give us your approval verbally?
Yes, I approve.
Okay. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. All right. So we've, go ahead. You have something?
Well, you're going, I wanted to wait until you moved into announcements.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm about there, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. The calendar indicates that the Rules and Regulations Committee meeting is going to be held on the 14th. It would normally be scheduled for the 7th, that is the first Monday following the COO board meeting. But we're going to keep it at the 14th. I have a personal conflict in it, and apparently that was foreseen by the person composing the calendar because it works best for me. So we'll do it on the 14th.
Oh, beautiful. Good. Okay. Thank you. Before we have announcements, I'm going to add a little bit to our Scottsdale celebration. I want to encourage everyone to go to Scottsdale and buy a logoed Scottsdale hat, shirt, ball, vest, whatever
Flag.
you think you need in your wardrobe to show your pride of Scottsdale. And I found a Scottish poem about golf. I found it very appropriate. I'm only going to read one stanza of the poem, but I'm going to put my hat on to do that. And I will not use my Scottish brogue. It's up and away from our work today, for the breeze sweeps over the down, and it's hay for a game where the gorse blossoms flame, and the bracken is bronzing to brown. With the turf neath our tread, and the blue overhead, and the song of the lark in the wind, there's the flag in the green with those bunkers between. Now will you be over or in? It's very appropriate, I thought. So. Our next regularly scheduled COO Board meeting will be Thursday, November 3rd, 2:30 here in the Country Club Board meeting room. Our Board of Directors work session will be Thursday, November 10th, 8 a.m. in the Country Club Board meeting room. And our regular board meeting will be Thursday, November 17th, 6:30 here in the Country Club Board meeting room. We are adjourned.